Hey friends, and welcome back to Life Coaching by Mirella, where I go deep into conversations about life and help you live a good one. Today I am talking to those of you who might be feeling a little stuck in your life in general, or maybe you're stuck in your thought life. You're lacking motivation and you're not feeling very optimistic about the future. And one of the reasons that could be is that we're simply off balance. When we're off balance, we're more in tune with what's bad, what's wrong, what's hard, and that generally puts us in a very negative headspace. We tend to do a lot more complaining when we're in that space, as opposed to being in tune with what's going right and what's good in our life, acknowledging and remembering that there's both. I want you to think of a good book, a recent book that you have read, cover to cover, that you loved. Maybe it was a real page turner. I'm not much of a reader, but if I had to pick one, it would be anything from the Harlan Coben series. I love me a good mystery sprinkled with a little bit of sci-fi. Here's my point. That all good books, good stories have many chapters, right? And not all chapters are created equally. Not all chapters have the same purpose. Some chapters are simply there to give us background, to give us history, to inform us of the characters, to introduce conflict. And then there's those special characters that we just simply fall in love with. Something about them really resonates with us, right? They go through some kind of transformation or an inner journey where they start off maybe broken or flawed in some way, and then we see them overcome and we see what they're able to actually accomplish because of their life story. That their life is not simply reduced to one chapter of hardship or conflict, that their life, their past, present, and their future is actually telling a whole story. That would be the character arc. Here's the parallel, that your life is also telling one big story. Not every chapter is going to be the same, and we don't want every chapter to be the same. That would be a boring story. Just like in any good book, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, we want to see the character go through some kind of character arc. We want to see peaks and valleys. So here's an honest question for you. Where are you spending most of your time? Are you stuck in a past chapter of your life? I'm not here to minimize it or to tell you to forget about it or to ignore it. What I'm here to tell you is that that is part of your story, but it's not your whole story. It's not all of who you are. It was a chapter. And I get that there are chapters in our lives that we would rather forget or tear out, but those chapters aren't meant to be torn out or forgotten. Those chapters are meant to set us up and to inform us and to teach us so we too can live out our character arc. Because I promised you a must-have, I want you to create a log line. And a log line is simply one sentence that tells us what the story or the movie is about. So what is your log line? This is going to require you to zoom out a little bit and not just to focus on one chapter of your life, but what is the story that your life is telling? And what is the story that you want your life to tell? Having a log line for yourself is a great place to start, and it's a great way to inspire you, to remind you who you are and where you're headed. Like I said, your log line should be short, it should be real, it should be true to your life, and something that inspires you. My log line, for example, is simply this. My story is one of an underprivileged girl born into a life of adversity, who beat the odds, grew up, became strong enough to understand her value and her worth, and now helps others do the same. Your story isn't over, and there's a future that you are meant to step into. So what's yours? Will you leave me your logline in the comments below? As always, thanks for watching. And if you'd like to explore your logline with me in a future session, will you reach out to me? Shoot me an email and we'll set aside some time to chat. We'll see you next time.